Listen,
Never in my life associated the word boring with baseball.
we know what's up.
Me? Yeah. Famous? Yeah.
And I'm like giddy over there smiling like, we're about to win this shit.
Did everyone give you crap? Give me a good host story.
I'm not picking it up.
We both love the game.
We talk about it every day.
Get on baseball.
Having some popcorn, you're fooling around your phone.
I'd have to wait in line for 3 hours.
Hang on, because it's about to be a wild ride.
Another episode of Pitch and Moan. I am your host, Courtney Finnicum, and I am with newly acquired White Sox left-handed pitcher, Chris Murphy. Chris, welcome to the show. Thanks for being on.
Thank you, Courtney. Good to be on.
So let's just jump right into it. Big news last week, you were acquired by the Chicago White Sox from Boston. I just have to ask, what were your initial reactions to that trade?
I was actually just probably right behind me playing video games with some friends.
Okay.
I knew it was Protection Day, and I knew that there may have been stuff going on, but I didn't. This is probably the first year in maybe 3 or 4 years that I wasn't like, oh, well, I'm going to keep my phone by me. I wasn't worried about it. I was just like, okay, I know what it is. I'll look at the end of the day, see who got protected or what moves were made and whatnot. Don't really use Twitter or trade rumors that much anymore.
Good for you.
I'm playing video games and I see I have my phone perked up because I'm on a call with some friends talking, and I see Craig Breslow's name pop up. I go, oh, I'm getting traded. I said, I'll talk to you guys later. I go, I'm either getting DFA'd or traded. I'm gonna hope for the best here. Picked up. It's yeah, we got a deal in place for you, and you're getting traded to the Chicago White Sox. And I was like, awesome. And just thanked me for what I did last year and seasons before that. And that was that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this stage is about to get really busy. I knew that was coming. So from then on, it was okay, well, someone's like, oh, this is an awesome opportunity. You might get to start. I was like, well, haven't really talked about that yet. But from then on, it was, yeah, I'm excited.
So in a perfect world, and obviously this is very early on, it's mid to late November at this point, do you, in your perfect scenario, in Chris's perfect scenario, would you like to be a starter for the White Sox in 2026?
I would love that. However, for me, it's just hey, be on the major league roster and pitch and post and pitch well. That's first and foremost, get guys out, don't let runners score. I think that's the game, right? However, I was very confident at the end of last season, hey, I can start, joking with Andrew Bailey last year, you need starter for a bullpen game, Bales, I can still start. I just, at the end of 23, I think my arm was just kind of falling apart.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of, in 22, I threw 150 innings as a starter. In 23, I threw 100 innings pretty much out of the bullpen between AAA and the big leagues. And it was I can still put innings together, but at the end of 23, it was once I got to that fourth inning, I felt out of gas. Writing was on the wall for Tommy John once I got into 24, and I was only able to do it for one inning, and then we blew out. And obviously that was another story, but on my mind, it's been I want to come back a starter. And last year showed that I can go. I think I had a 3-inning outing. I was going to go out for a fourth a couple times. I started a few games in AAA, and those were actually my most efficient outings. I think my first one was 3 innings and 31 pitches.
Oh, wow.
Let me go back out. I can do this. Let me build up to 4 innings. I'm no, you're limited to 3 this year. I was okay, well, there's that. It was a talk hey, we're going to build you up going into spring with the Red Sox. I knew that rotation's too good. I probably would not start there. If I was a starter with the Red Sox, it would be in AAA.
Right.
Which is not the ideal scenario. So hopefully here with Chicago, I would get an opportunity. However, I'm not going to press the front office on that. Whatever they want to use me as, that's what I'm there for. And that's that.
Well, I'm sure that you've done some research now within the last week of being traded here. And I'm sure you saw that, the White Sox had some bullpen issues this last season. And having a lefty like yourself come out of the bullpen was sort of a missing proponent, especially in the later innings. However, there was opportunities last year. For instance, Boston native Mike Vassell really fell into that role of being a long reliever, spot starting as well. Do you sort of see yourself in that hybrid role too, potentially, with this team?
I'm doing whatever Will Venable wants me to do, right? And whatever Getz sees me as, whatever Venable sees me as, whatever Bove sees me as. Just, hey, let's be clear with me. Tell me what I'm doing, and I'll do it. Like that's that. I don't talk to Bove last week, and I was like, hey, dude, it's not a mindset change for me anymore. I pitched in the big leagues. I know what it takes. I just need to just tell me, hey, you could tell me I'm starting the next day. I'll be like, okay, I can do that. I'm not the guy that's stuck to a routine and needs to stick to certain things. I can adjust.
Because some pitchers are sort of routine in that way, right? Like they can't really pivot from reliever to starter. And it seems like that's not an issue for you, which is great.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, Will Venable, you mentioned the new pitching coach for the White Sox. What else do you know about the organization as far as personnel, anything Will Venable wise? What have you learned so far about the White Sox organization?
I had brief interactions with Venable in 22 spring with the Red Sox when he was the bench coach there, and he was an awesome guy. Beyond that, I obviously didn't debut in 22. I was just there as an NRI. However, played with some of the players, played with Chase Mydroth, or in spring training. We missed each other by a year at the University of San Diego, where we both went. Talked to Teal a few times while he was in the dugout in spring training. Nice kid. Corey Lee met him in Vegas for the All MLB thing a couple weeks ago, and I also met Chris Getz there.
There you go.
Up at a blackjack table, introduced myself as the Red Sox garbage man. Just like I'm going to be I'm your long reliever.
You're now the White Sox garbage man. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. That was funny. I introduced myself as Chris Murphy, the Red Sox garbage man. That was like that was my role this year. But it was funny when we had that phone call when he called me to trade me. I was like, I'm pretty sure I met you last week at the blackjack table. He goes, that is right. We did meet. That was funny. Yeah.
Now, did you sit down and actually play a couple hands with Chris? I mean, I have to ask.
No. He had just come to say hi to a guy sitting next to me that he knew, and Corey Lee was also sitting next to me on the other side. So yeah.
Well, that would have been a hell of a blackjack, blackjack table.
Yeah,
So I mean, so you have some background a little bit about the White Sox and sort of how they operate, and obviously they have a pretty much brand new coaching staff. So you're coming in there just as new as the coaching staff. So that's pretty good, right?
Yeah. Hey, I'm here to do what they ask. So that's that.
So you mentioned coming back from Tommy John, obviously all the recovery that goes through with that. Who are you currently training with in the offseason to get stronger for the year? I
train at Apex Performance Facility in Phoenix.
Representing nicely.
Representing nicely. Strength coaches would be proud. They're going to watch this in like an hour or whatever it may be, and they're going to be like, "We're going to post it."
And they should, by the way. They should. I'll make sure to tag them.
They will. They will. Don't worry. The most notable names are Tarek Skubal and Bobby Dahlbeck, who was a White Sox last year for a cup of coffee.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So hanging out with those guys, it's just a great environment to work out with those guys, honestly.
What, if anything, have you learned? You mentioned the great environment. What have you learned from working with somebody like Tarek Skubal, who just won the American League Cy Young Award?
Honestly, talking about pitching with him, we don't talk a lot about say sequencing or anything like that. It's more just like mentality. Like, hey, he's the competitor in the big leagues, right? Like that's gold standard. The guy that you want on the bump for any playoff game. He brings it. He brings it in the weight room. He's the same guy. I would love to say that I'm similar, but I'm still not Tarek Skubal. He's got a different gear that he kicks it into, and for people who don't know, he's a gigantic human being. He's like 6'7", or 6'4", 270.
When I saw him on the red carpet in Vegas, I didn't actually realize how big he was. That's a big man.
He's a large man. I'm a child next to him. I'm 6 foot 190. Like, okay, I'm larger than an average person, but you put me next to him, you're like, that's different.
I mean, I'm 5'2" on a good day. I can only imagine when I look like a flea next to him, or more than likely. But yeah, so I mean, obviously he kicks it into another high level. Are you learning anything pitching wise from him? Are you mixing in any of his arsenal? Like, is there anything going on that level?
Actually, last year he got on a podcast with Pitching Ninja talking about his changeup, and I had talked to him about it a little bit playing catch with him, but I was in a Tommy John process, so I was only throwing fastballs at that time. didn't really get a chance to like really grasp his changeup grip, and like that's his bread and butter, right? Like that's his out pitch. He did a podcast with Pitching Ninja about it, broke it down. I started throwing it at the end of the year, using some seam shift on it, like some cut orientation. Worked with it with the guys in Boston. We got it down to a solid pitch. I saw him started this offseason. We're playing catch. Go, hey, thanks for the changeup grip. Shouldn't have told anybody. Just making a joke. Like you put it out loud. Like yeah. If you can give me an opportunity to throw it the exact same way you do, but I don't throw it 90 miles an hour like he does.
Yep.
But hopefully it has similar results. And if it's just off of it, I'm still happy.
Well, I mean, listen, now that you've brought this up, if I'm going to have to hold you to Tarek Skubal standards in 2026, don't blame me. I won't, but we'll see.
Big shoes to fill.
That's right. Yes. You mentioned Bobby Dahlbeck. I actually met up with Bobby Dahlbeck when he was with the Omaha Storm Chasers at the end of the year. He was with the Royals for a little bit. Are you learning anything from him? Because he's kind of an intense dude in his own way.
I played with Bob with the Red Sox. Like we were in AAA together for 3 years. So me and Bob, he messes with me. I mess with him. I know how to poke his buttons sometimes. He really knows how to mess with me, and he's got me down to a science. It's funny. He's a physical specimen in terms of working out, just a freak athlete.
Yes.
And he's way stronger than I am. So just putting myself in a group with those kinds of guys that have done it at the big league level. Bob, who's, he's a veteran around the game. Like he's a journeyman. He's been around. He's a very smart hitter. And whether or not what his career does, like I still think he's one of the smartest around. I've seen him talk with guys in AAA. Might be the greatest AAA hitter ever.
I mean, his numbers in Omaha were outrageous.
His numbers, I mean, if you look at his 2023 in Worcester with like a 1,200 OPS all season, like 40 homers, I think that his approach there showed that he knows what he's doing and helping young guys out and hitting Coach Bob. So
hitting Coach Bob, he might have that in his future now. You just named it. You just put it out into existence.
I know. I hope not. I hope he still has some light years on him to play.
I agree.
Finds his footing again, yeah.
So obviously you're a newbie with the White Sox. What is a couple things or one thing that White Sox fans should know about you?
Good question. We didn't talk about this one before the podcast.
No, we didn't. So I put you on the spot there. I want to see how good you are.
Let's see. I mean, I could go cliche or I could go funny.
Do both.
I'm probably the most lighthearted person off the field. Like I'm not intense at all. You get me between the lines, I'm a different person. But I'm going to be a goober all year. I don't like losing. That's something that I think has been that I know about me. I hate losing a lot.
Okay.
So hopefully we can get off on the right foot here. And I don't know if it's whatever may happen in the clubhouse that happens, and I just want a good group of guys to get along, and that's that.
So you mentioned about the losing. Obviously, you're laughing. I'm laughing. Obviously, the White Sox are still in the middle of their rebuild. I mean, how do you feel about being a part of a team that's still sort of coming up together?
Look, on one edge of it, you can be like, oh, the team loses. However, I like the mentality. I know the Red Sox lost both series against the White Sox last year.
They certainly did.
Yes. I have said this forever. I don't like facing a team that has nothing to lose, right? So those are the scariest teams where it's like they don't have anything to play for, and they're going to go out and show out. And I love a team of nobodies. I love being an underdog. And like, if you think we're going to lose, we might not. You never know. I don't know any of the guys. I'm not trying to put anything out there. I know that I do not enjoy losing at all. And I think that if guys in the clubhouse feel the same, it should create winning. Just in my experience. And I think that was kind of what happened in the clubhouse last year. We went on a good winning streak there when I first got up, and it was, I don't know, the vibes were great in the clubhouse. And I think that's extremely important towards development. Like if you can win and you value winning above all else, I think that's very important at the major league level.
And I think honestly that is a big difference from this current White Sox team from years past, is that this is a group of guys that does seem to gel well together. And you saw that in the second half. You know, they started to hit more, they started to pitch a little bit better. Bullpen was still a little bit of an issue, but I feel like, knowing what I know about the White Sox clubhouse, I think you'll mesh well given your personality. So looking forward to seeing how you vibe in there.
Yeah. I have nothing bad to say. Like, they had 20 more wins last year than they did the year before.
Exactly.
Wouldn't hate 20 more wins this year. So, I mean,
both.
hey, I think you never know going into a season, into a spring, what the team's going to be. And I think camaraderie, or like how a team's chemistry is, speaks for itself when you get on the field.
So I'm going to ask you one more question that I didn't discuss with you outside the podcast, so don't hold this against me, but I think you can answer this well. In your opinion, why is baseball not boring?
Why is baseball not boring? Because there is zero time limit on it. I mean, now we have a pitch clock, but
right.
The best team wins the game every single time.
Yeah.
Or it should. Whoever's better that day is going to win. I also I explained it to some normal person last week in an Uber. It's like, baseball is awesome because if you go look at, say, I'm not saying I sports bet a whole lot, but if you look at sports betting lines, like, they pop up on ESPN, you see who the favorite is, you see who the dog is, right? And you look at a baseball line, it's like the underdog is like plus 110. It's like, okay.
Yes.
It's a game where it's so 50-50 every single day. Like, the best team doesn't always win that day.
Right.
In the long run, the best team usually wins the World Series, in my opinion.
As we saw.
But in the long run, every single day, I think that you could flip a coin on who's going to win. And I think that's probably the most important part is, hey, next page. Yesterday does not predict the next day, right? And I think baseball's the game where it takes a whole 40-man roster to win a game.
I like that.
Basketball, you need 2 or 3 good players. Not throwing shade at anybody. In football, you need a good quarterback, a good running back, and it's a team sport. But if you have a star player, you're most likely going to do very well.
I agree.
You can pitch around a star player, right? And
you can.
And I think that's what makes baseball not boring, is like the ins and outs of it. The more you understand baseball, the more you watch it, the more there's like, oh, well, I didn't know that pitchers, I've been with so many people that are like, I had no idea that pitchers throw more than one pitch. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do to the baseball to make it move.
Certainly. You're not just throwing it flat.
And when you talk to a normal person, like, oh, hitting baseball doesn't seem hard. Okay, well, just wait when it's 10 miles an hour slower and moves 12 inches more. Like, you're screwed.
And isn't there like a big stat that says, basically, you know, even your best hitter, 3 out of the 10 times you're going to get a hit. Like, there's so much failure, right?
You fail 7 out of 10 times and you're in the Hall of Fame, right?
Exactly.
I think that's, and you can square a ball up and just get out still because you lined it out right at somebody. Like, I did everything right and I still got out. And pitching,
that's right.
It's very rare that it happens in pitching. You can do everything right and get screwed over and like, oh, I gave up a broken bat single. I think there's a lot of intangibles in baseball, and it's America's pastime, so I can't say anything other than that. It's a great game.
Well, I'd lie to you. One more question for you.
Okay,
you mentioned.
You can speak them all at me. I'm fine.
Yeah, you seem like you said very loose, so I always appreciate that. You mentioned about pitching, obviously, and making your pitches and doing all the things right. How do you feel about ABS coming into play in 2026?
I have had a long tenure with ABS.
That's right. Yes.
That means I've pitched in AAA a lot.
Well.
I love it and I hate it. I don't necessarily love the 2-dimensional zone. I think that screws over some pitchers like myself with curveballs. However, it is what it is. That's what's coming to the game, and you just have to adjust, right? That's it. I think it is great for hitters. No more complaining about calls. And I think the biggest, from what I've seen with it, is they're going to have to control when they challenge. You can't challenge an 0-0 pitch in the first inning. Like,
very true. Yes.
Those challenges are gold.
You got to pick and choose.
You have to pick and choose when you're using them. Use them in the right counts, or else you're going to end up with none in the 8th inning with the tying run on 3rd and 2 outs.
Exactly.
Right? Other than that, there's no room to complain anymore.
I agree.
I like that aspect of it. Do I like complaining? Sometimes. Like I'll talk shit, but I'm not like the worst at it. I think I get more lucky than I do, and hopefully I just throw the ball in the zone this year and eliminate those walks, and we'll be in a good spot.
Eliminate the walks, yes.
Eliminate the walks. If we want to talk about that, the big elephant that's laying over my head is you walk guys.
I didn't want to bring it up, but since you
can bring
brought it up,
I know what I did last year. I knew that became an issue. Nothing more than just Tommy John stuff. Command's the last thing to come back. I came out of the gate hot, and then I got a little not skittish. I fell in love with my curveball too much last year, and I was like trying to put it on home plate. I went over it with the pitching coach of the Red Sox at the end of the year. Is like, dude, you had of your 20 walks, I think 10 of them were in 2 strike counts. It's like, you got to.
right.
If you get a guy 0-2 or 1-2, he cannot walk. And I think if I have, my goal this year is to have 0, 0-2 or 1-2 walks. Will it happen? Hopefully not, but we'll see where we go from there.
Because, I mean, honestly, I looked at your stats. You had an ERA in the 3s in your time with the Red Sox, but, the walks were obviously the glaring issue there.
Yeah.
But, if that's truly just coming out of a Tommy John situation, you seem like you're working on the adjustments, and that's great. That's what we want to hear, right?
If they don't score, then I don't like walking guys with 2 outs, but if they don't end up scoring, then I can live with it at the end of the day. I'm not going to go back to my apartment and be like, I can't believe I did that. But it's the ones like I had a blow up in, where was that? Oh, Tampa. I gave up like a grand slam. It's like, okay, well, you had 2 2-out walks. That's an issue.
That's an issue.
Don't do that.
Don't do that, right?
Good thing we were up by 8, so I can give that
that's
up.
good.
But yeah. That's probably the one that haunts me going into. I always take one into the off season. It's like that can never happen again. That's the one.
Well, and I'm not making excuses for you. You seem like, but that was a spring training ballpark you were pitching in as well, right?
That's true. I threw him an 0-0 curveball right down the middle, but I did walk 2 guys prior to that. The home run I gave up was not. Actually, we just traded for that guy. The White Sox just traded for him.
Yes, good point.
He can't take me deep again unless
he cannot
on the backfield. But glad that he's on our team.
So there you go. So that's one guy you don't have to worry about again.
That's one guy I don't have to worry about.
And you don't have to worry about that spring training facility either, as they're back at the Trop now. So I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm also very excited for Arizona spring, being that I live here. Yeah.
So I was going to mention that to you. Arizona spring is truly the best spring training.
I've been so jealous. I've lived here for 4 years now, and it's like I just wish spring training was here for everybody. It just makes sense. The freeway system makes sense. The furthest drive is 45 minutes.
Literally. And this March in Arizona, there's not a better climate than March in Arizona. That is for sure. So you don't have to worry about, any crazy rainouts, any of that stuff. It happens, but Arizona and spring training it's my favorite time of year. So
I'm excited.
Well, I am excited to have you on today. I appreciate your time, Chris, and I look forward to seeing your season in 2026.
Awesome. Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate it.